Good morning, Israel. This is Heaven. Around winter, or close to winter, fall to winter, I think a lot about my father who passed. Hopes that he made it to heaven and that he rests in peace. And I know that a lot of you have people that you think about that's gone, that's not with you anymore. People that you cherish and all their memories and the things you enjoyed and, all of it. Doesn't matter if it's the laughter, the tears, the fights, I know that all these memories play back in our heads different times of the year. I'm sure for you it's the same around the time when the person, passed on to the next life. And if we think about it, in one sense, it's sad. It hurts. It makes you feel lonely. It makes you feel forgotten, or like you're missing a piece to your life, like a missing piece to the puzzle. But in another way, it's some sort of peace and joy there. And I might sound crazy or loony, but sometimes when I think about it, it makes me wonder, like, if my father went to heaven, then how is it, up there, with God? How is it out of this, earth? And it's nothing wrong with the earth because God made it, but all of the stresses, all of the things that we still have to worry about, well, the people that made it to paradise don't have to worry about what we have to worry about anymore. You don't have to worry about paying bills, don't have to worry about keeping a roof over your head, keeping the water and the lights on. You don't have to worry about people coming to kill you or break into your home or where you be tomorrow. And I know that anyway, generally we leave this all up to God. We have faith and we just, pray and do the best we can, to take care of business. But I have to admit, when Adam and Eve fell from the garden, it was like a punishment. This earth is not like heaven. Because heaven, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And then one of the things you don't have to worry about is dying. Once you do die, then I don't think there's another death. I mean, I don't know, but once you're in heaven, you're in heaven. And hopefully for eternity, as God promised. And I know that has to feel really great. That has to feel like an honor. And I wonder, is things different there than how we perceive it here? Some people I've heard say out in this world, like, heaven is going to be boring, there's not going to be anything fun there. But that's such a big delusion. Like, how do you think that heaven is going to be boring when, God made everything? God made your laughter and tears. God made jokes. God made your sense of humor. Like, how do you think you're going to be bored? Is it because you want problems in your life? Is it because, you want to do these dirty, corrupt things? And to you, evil is excitement. Evil is joy. And evil is just not my happiness. Imagining a world without the devil is grand. Imagining a world without people cheating on each other, a world without people lying to each other, a world where people, are not drinking and outside of their minds, ready to crash a car because they're drunk, a world without people murdering each other. You have to look over your shoulder. You can't trust anybody, whether they're real or they're fake, whether they actually got your back or they don't. To me, that's a grand world. Living in a world, without all these criminals can do, and if it was me, if I was the queen over the whole universe, I just put everybody that, is like that onto their own special little island and secure them off from the rest of the world. Anybody wants to be a criminal, anybody wants to argue and fight, I mean, to me, that doesn't make life joyous. Now, it makes life what it is, a struggle, reality, a hardship, a challenge. But the thing is that in paradise, look at all the work it took to get there. It's not easy. For the people that had made it, it wasn't easy, it was hard. And you don't ever know what missions or what duty God wants you to do there. But it's a weird, funny thing. People say heaven is boring, but yet you're trying to live your life in comfort and ease. You're trying to get away from difficulty. You're trying to get away from, all these dangers. And yet you think that partying in heaven, not heaven, partying in the fire would be funner in HELL. You think that's better? Some people are sick in the head like that. But, just me thinking personally, I would love a place to where I don't have to worry about all the stress anymore. And then imagine being there, you don't have to worry about people going. My whole life I realized that everything doesn't last long. As I grow up, and as I'm older now, I think into you love your family. And then the more people you add, and it's not a bad thing, but the more people you add, the more that you have to worry about when they have to go. Because everybody has to go. And you don't even know if you're going to go first or they're going to go. But one day we all have to go. And then even with yourself, it's always a big fear. Like, how is that going to be? What am I going to see on the other side? What is going to be waiting for me? Am I going to make it, or am I going to wake up in a terrible place? Am I going to be burning for eternity? Or, all these worries stop. And so when I think about, okay, I can make it to heaven and I can see the people who passed whom I really dearly loved all over again. And one person I can talk about right now is my father. I can see him again, and if we all made it like my family, I can see, my mother, that smile on her face again. And it's not like she doesn't smile. She takes it like a champ. All the pains and all the hurts and the losses so well. And she inspires me to, keep going, to keep pushing. Don't get stuck in a depression to where, this person, made your whole life in a sense of, like, we love the people who passed on, but we have to move on, if you get it. We got to move on for other people. Imagine if you had children. You can't stay stuck in the past. People are in need. People need you. And then most of all, we're supposed to be living for God, not for people. So if we can't move on after someone passes, it's okay to grieve over them. It's okay to care, but it's not okay to stay stuck. It's not okay to get depressed. It's not okay to get to the point to where you want to seclude yourself, or you get resentful or bitter or angry or suicidal, or just start doing things just out of your personality that you would never do because you're sad, you're depressed. We can't get to that point. I believe that it was a weird thing that struck me when it happened. And I don't want to take you to depression mode, but I just want to, maybe it might inspire someone else. When my father passed, what hit me first was, I was so, I don't know. I was so upset because I felt like, okay, he left me behind. And then I was so upset because it's like, well, if you made it, you get to be free from here. I still have to worry. I still have to wonder where the heck I'm going. For you, it's already over and done with. I wouldn't want it to be over and done with if I was going to HELL, but if I'm going to paradise, like, man, you're already there. What made me upset was I felt like my father was a great man. He was inspirational. He was a leader. He, to me, did his duty. I can't say if he made it or not, but I 100% believe so. And then me, I feel like I'm lagging behind, and I was like, I just wish I was, prepared already. I just wish that I was as good as I could be, I just wish that I was on a big, a higher level with God. I wish I was closer to the Lord. And these things inspire me. Like, if I want to see him again, well, I gotta work for that. And most of all, out of the love of the Lord. But then he gave me something else to work for. So now, definitely, and then the words that my father spoke still resonates in my mind. When he told me all the time, he used to hug me and tell me that, if, when we go, you better be there. If I make it to heaven, I better see you there. You better make it. And those words sit with me so tight. And every time I do anything wrong, I have regret in myself. I hate when I feel like myself is pulling away from God. When I feel like I'm straying, when I feel like I'm going into darkness. Because I feel like I'm getting further and further away where I should be. I grew up, and I'm so grateful to God first. But I grew up, religiously. I was raised right by both my parents. And God has been so gracious to me and to my family. But just speaking on myself right now, he's been so gracious to me. He took care of me. He kept me out of trouble. He protected me all these years. And for me to turn my back on him just makes me just feel so ungrateful. For me to even think ungrateful, to think, to get upset, to think to turn my back on God, it just feels so treacherous to me. Because God has been so great. He saved me out of so many situations. And my family as well. And he, every time that I was down, he uplifted me. I didn't have to go through certain things that I heard other people went through. And this whole world has these stories to tell that is awful in a sense of, I could have went through those things. I could be missing both my legs. I could be missing my arms. I could be paralyzed. And, I had a dream before that a bomb went off and both my legs were missing. And my sister, I believe, had to carry me in a dream. And that dream sits with me because at any moment you can be missing any part of your, any part of your body, any of your limbs. And in one moment you'll be thinking fine, and the next moment you can, have a mental problem. And one moment, you can be, fine and healthy, and the next moment you have cancer. You can be diagnosed with cancer. And so my mind just always thinks, what am I sitting here pouting about? When I cry and I pout and I feel like life is so unfair and, I don't know, that I'm not as lucky as others. I don't have this, I don't have that, And it always comes back to my head, but what do you have? You have everything. People don't even have true friends nowadays. People don't even have true family members who sit by them, no matter the fights, the strife, the struggles, because every family has imperfections. Every family is going to have disagreements, arguments that you have to work on, arguments that you have to work through. And my family, just speaking of since I was little all the way up to now, has sat with me my whole life, have never left my side. And I haven't left theirs, and I hope that I never do. And a lot of people don't have that. To me, that's true friendship. Through my family, that's true friends. And I'm just saying, maybe look at things in a different perspective. When you get sad, when you get down, just think about all the good memories that you had. Sometimes the devil will pull you into thinking about what you could have done, what you should have done, what you wish you could have said, what you wish that, you could have did better. But sometimes, you acknowledge those things and just do better. But then sometimes you just do your best to move on and think of the good times. Think of what did the person say, when we're laughing together. Because if it was me, and I'm just saying if I were to pass, and not that I would care because I wouldn't be here, but just thinking about my family hurting, I wouldn't want them to be crying over me, or I wouldn't want them to be, sad or miserable. I would want them to just be thinking about not what they could have done, but what they did. Times we had together, the good. I wouldn't care for them to think about, whatever wrong they did to me. Now, when it comes to you and God, and for all of us, even myself, we need to make amends and repentance for the way we've treated people and the things we said to people. And also, we need to do better. So if you didn't treat a person right in an area, or just generally didn't treat a person right before they passed and it passed on to the next person, we learn to treat better. We learn not to say these things, because when the person is gone, it's going to forever stay with you. It's going to be a forever regret in your heart. So you move on in that sense. You just use it as a fuel to make you make better choices and decisions, like what my father always said. And my mother, you only have everybody once. So even if you have many brothers and sisters, everyone is different. And then you only have one set of parents. You can't get another one, So treat them right. Treat everybody right. Be as kind as you can. Be fair and just. Don't lie to them. Don't deceive them. Be there for them. That way you don't have any regrets. And as you used to say, that live your life with little regrets as possible. And I find that really helpful, because, a lot in my life I have had plenty of regrets, and I still do. And now I'm learning that I'm tired of having regrets. I just want to be happy. I just want to be content with the choices I made. I want to be, glad when I think back. Like, I'm glad I said this. I'm glad I did this for this person. I'm glad that I spent time with my family, So I'm rambling, but just thinking about my father. Yeah, it just helps me be so grateful, and it helps me just want to make it. It helps me to remember my purpose when I watch his videos, and that's another thing I'd like to add. It's so minute, but to me, it meant the world to me. So if you have like family or children, one thing that helped me as a kid, and even now, is my father, he loved to film. So he always had a thing for filming, and even us goofing off, or us just, having family time. He would film that. He would just film us, doing things together. And to me, that matters, because now that he's gone, I can go back and just watch those videos. And it just helps me to remember him. Just like taking lots of photos, which would be my mother. She, used to take a lot of pictures. And now we, as their children, take a lot of pictures. And these pictures help. Some things you forget. Some things you forget along the way. You forgot, what you look like as a child. But when you watch these things, and if, anybody else ever passed, I still have them to watch. I still have them to see. And sometimes I've always been a person that likes to, just write things. So I've had journals, different journals of things I wrote. And sometimes you would be so shocked at the things that happened that you forgot about the events that took place in your life and when it did. Sometimes I get moments mixed up, like this happened, this event happened this year, and I would realize that it happened 2 years ago, or even more recent. So, to me that was really smart. I never even thought about that. And of course, as you know, my father, he liked to make music from time to time. So I have his songs always to fall back on. And, it helps. Even if you don't like to make music, dedicating a song to somebody helps as well. Then, when you hear that song, you always think of that person. I guess it's a way to, not that they're living on through these things, but to make them feel like, their presence is still there with you. So Israel, I'm going to end it like, anybody that believed in, who believed and, was doing their best to, make it. I pray for all of the believers to, make it to God's paradise. and the people that, passed in our lives, that they made it, and I hope that we all get to see them again. Israel, just keep working hard. Don't let the Satan fool you that this life is better. This life is really hard. It's really a deceitful thing that this life is better than the hereafter. That you want your gifts now, your blessings now, rather than later, because here everything is just for a moment. Everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be money, but once it's spent, then what? Once you have everything in the world, then what? Once you do everything you want it to do, then what? And nothing is lasting here. Everything is going to perish. Everyone is going to die. Everything is going to crumble. It was like scripture said, everything is going to fall apart. So why don't we just start working towards our place there? And don't think that God's mind is restricted. He's not like you. He's created everything that you know. He's created cars, mansions, pools, and music, everything. Barbecue grills, shoes, everything that you like, he created. The only thing that's not going to be there is anything in a wrong way. But you can literally ask God, and He will give it to you. Anything that your heart's desire, it's not like God won't give it to you in the next life. The only thing that He's not going to give to you is corruption. And I'm sorry, if you love corruption, you have to get it to, inside your heart where you stop loving corruption. Allah gave you a right way to do things. You just got to follow that right way. You got to start loving the good way. And it may feel like, God is controlling or too strict, but really, you got to actually really ask yourself the golden question. What is enjoyable about this? Why is it worth it to you to do this sin? And, why? What is so enjoyable about it that you want it over paradise? That you just can't do what's right. You can't do things the right way. You can't. You just have to work hard towards it. All of us have these diseases and these weaknesses in our hearts that we have to fight. And it's going to be a struggle, but you just know that you can't grow out of it. You are a moldable person. Every human being is. Just like you got into the habit, you can break out of that habit. And just like sometimes replacing one thing and substituting it with another, you do that with your sin. You find something that you like and something else that's not wrong. God has given you many ways. So Israel, I'm gonna end it off. This is getting long, but I just wanted to say, rest in peace again to Rap the News and anybody else that passed, Hillbilly Hebrew and anyone else that passed. I know there's multiple people who said, their family members passed on his channel, and I just, I hope that we all make it, and I hope that we can see them again all in paradise. That's it. Shalom. Love y'all.